Welcome back to Albums Born Today, where we delve into the history behind albums celebrating their release. It's March 22nd, 2024. Let's explore what the past has in store for us today. Please Please Me is the debut studio album by the English rock band The Beatles, released in 1963. The Beatles originated in Liverpool in the late 1950s, with members John Lennon, Paul McCartney, George Harrison, Stuart Sutcliffe, and Pete Best. The band honed their skills performing in clubs in Hamburg, Germany, before returning to Liverpool and establishing themselves as a popular live act. In 1962, the Beatles secured a recording contract with Parlophone Records, a subsidiary of EMI. The band's manager, Brian Epstein, convinced producer George Martin to sign them after several unsuccessful auditions with other record labels. Please Please Me was recorded in a single day, on February 11, 1963, at EMI Studios in London, later known as Abbey Road Studios. The decision to record the album in one day was made due to budget constraints and time limitations. The album features a mix of original songs written by Lennon McCartney and cover versions of rock and roll and R&B classics. The Beatles' early sound was heavily influenced by American rock and roll artists like Chuck Berry, Little Richard, and Buddy Holly. The album's title track, Please Please Me, was released as a single prior to the album's release and became the Beatles' first major hit, reaching number 1 on the UK singles chart. Other hit singles from the album include Love Me Do and Twist and Shout. The album received widespread critical acclaim upon its release, with critics praising the Beatles' catchy melodies, tight harmonies, and energetic performances. The album's success marked the beginning of Beatlemania and signaled the start of the Beatles' legendary career. Please Please Me was a commercial success, reaching number 1 on the UK albums chart and staying at the top spot for 30 weeks. Please Please Me is regarded as one of the greatest debut albums in rock and roll history and a landmark in the Beatles' discography. Bringing It All Back Home is the 5th studio album by American singer-songwriter Bob Dylan, released in 1965. Bringing It All Back Home marks a significant transition in Bob Dylan's career. Up to this point, Dylan was known primarily as a folk musician, but with this album, he began to incorporate elements of rock and roll and electric instrumentation into his music, which caused controversy among some of his folk purist fans. The album was recorded over several sessions in January and February of 1965. Dylan recorded Side 1, featuring his acoustic material, with producer Tom Wilson in New York City. Side 2, featuring the electric tracks, was recorded with a full band in Studio A of Columbia Records in New York. Bringing It All Back Home showcases Dylan's evolving musical style and lyrical prowess. The album features a mix of acoustic folk songs and electric rock tracks, with Dylan's distinctive voice and poetic lyrics at the forefront. The electric tracks marked a departure from Dylan's earlier sound, incorporating elements of blues, rock, and even psychedelia. Many of the songs on Bringing It All Back Home reflect Dylan's interest in literature and poetry, with dense, abstract lyrics that explore themes of love, alienation, and social commentary. The album's title itself is a reference to the novel Bringing It All Back Home by Irish author Patrick Boyle. The album produced several hit singles, including Subterranean Homesick Blues, Maggie's Farm, and Mr. Tambourine Man. Subterranean Homesick Blues became one of Dylan's most iconic songs, known for its rapid-fire lyrics and social commentary. The album's innovative blend of folk and rock elements helped solidify Dylan's reputation as a groundbreaking artist and established him as a leading figure in the 1960s counterculture movement. Bringing It All Back Home is widely regarded as one of Bob Dylan's greatest albums and a seminal work in the history of popular music. On the Border is the 3rd studio album by the American rock band Eagles, released in 1974. Eagles formed in Los Angeles in 1971, featuring Glenn Frey, Don Henley, Bernie Leadon, and Randy Meisner. The band quickly gained recognition for their harmonious vocal arrangements and blend of country, rock, and folk influences. On the Border was recorded in London and Los Angeles in 1974. It was the band's first album to feature guitarist Don Felder, who joined during the recording sessions. The album was produced by Bill Shimchick who had previously worked with artists like the James Gang and B.B. King. On the Border continued Eagles' exploration of country rock and folk rock sounds while incorporating elements of hard rock and funk. The album features a mix of up-tempo rockers, heartfelt ballads, and introspective songs, showcasing the band's versatility as songwriters and musicians. On the Border produced several hit singles, including Already Gone, James Dean, and Best of My Love. Best of My Love became the band's first #1 single on the Billboard Hot 100 chart, earning Eagles their first Grammy Award for Best Pop Performance by a duo or group with vocal. On the Border was a commercial success, reaching number 17 on the Billboard 200 chart and earning platinum certification from the RIAA. The album helped solidify Eagles' status as one of the leading bands of the 1970s and laid the groundwork for their future success with albums like One of These Nights and Hotel California. Apostrophe is the 18th album by American musician Frank Zappa, released in 1974. By the early 1970s, Frank Zappa had established himself as a highly prolific and innovative musician, known for his eclectic blend of rock, jazz, avant-garde, and classical music. His albums often featured complex compositions, satirical lyrics, and virtuosic performances. Apostrophe was recorded at various studios, including Bollock Sound in Inglewood, California, and the Record Plant in Los Angeles. Zappa served as the producer and arranger for the album, overseeing every aspect of its creation. The album features a mix of musical styles, including rock, jazz fusion, doo-wop, and comedy rock. Zappa's compositions are characterized by their intricate arrangements, unconventional song structures, and virtuosic performances by the musicians involved. The album's lyrics touch on a variety of topics, including relationships, politics, religion, and popular culture, often delivered with Zappa's trademark wit and satire. The album's title track, Apostrophe, became one of Zappa's most popular and enduring songs. Apostrophe features contributions from a diverse array of musicians, including keyboardist George Duke, saxophonist Jean-Luc Ponty, and drummer Ainsley Dunbar. These talented musicians brought their own unique styles and improvisational skills to the album, enhancing its musical richness and diversity. The album is often regarded as one of Zappa's masterpieces and a highlight of his extensive discography. The Number of the Beast is the third studio album by the British heavy metal band Iron Maiden, released in 1982. Iron Maiden was formed in London in 1975 by bassist Steve Harris. Over the years, the lineup evolved, with vocalist Paul Di'Anno, guitarists Dave Murray and Dennis Stratton, and drummer Clive Bird joining the band. Iron Maiden gained a loyal following in the UK metal scene with their self-titled debut album and its follow-up, Killers. Both albums received positive reviews and helped establish Iron Maiden as one of the leading bands of the new wave of British heavy metal movement. The Number of the Beast was recorded at Battery Studios in London in 1982. It was the band's first album to feature vocalist Bruce Dickinson, who replaced Paul Di'Anno. Producer Martin Birch, who had worked with bands like Deep Purple and Black Sabbath, oversaw the recording process. The Number of the Beast further solidified Iron Maiden's signature sound, characterized by twin guitar harmonies, galloping bass lines, and operatic vocals. The album features epic song structures, complex arrangements, and powerful melodies, showcasing the band's musical prowess and songwriting skills. The album's lyrical themes draw inspiration from literature, mythology, and horror films. The title track, The Number of the Beast, explores themes of religious imagery and apocalyptic visions, while songs like Run to the Hills and Hallowed Be Thy Name touch on topics of war, death, and mortality. The Number of the Beast is widely regarded as one of the greatest heavy metal albums of all time and a landmark in Iron Maiden's discography. Its iconic artwork, memorable songs, and dynamic performances have earned it a lasting legacy and a dedicated fanbase worldwide. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more content. Feel free to leave your thoughts and suggestions in the comments below. Keep the music alive, and we'll see you in the next video.